OSM's asking me, why do I always ask BO5 question mark when it's always BO5? And the reason is, it's the same reason why you always take an umbrella if you think it might rain. It's because if you do bring the umbrella, it's not going to rain and you're not going to need it. But if you don't bring the umbrella, then it is going to rain and you'd wish you took it. I ask, not because I think the players don't know, but because I know if I don't ask, they're going to not know and then somebody's going to have to go after 3 games. That's a preventative strategy. Take a small measure just to make the future better for all of us. Anyway, let's get into OSM versus Rezears. OSM doesn't fancy his chances in this match too much. But, he's already scored an open net, so that's a big win. A big, big win for OSM. So OSM says Rezears beat me by 10 goals in ranked. I don't have high hopes. 10-goal games, they can happen. They can happen. It's not always a sign that a match is completely unwinnable. We've seen many times before, extremely one-sided game in game 1 of a series, and then the player who loses comes back to win the series. I think we actually just saw that between Luis and Toxic, if I recall. Luis was up 10-3 or something before a couple late goals for Toxic. Doesn't mean that this is not winnable for OSM. That being said, I am going to predict Rezears to win this. Let's see if I can get 3 wrong in a row. I've already got Revzy versus CRR wrong yesterday. Now I've got Luis versus Toxic wrong today. I'm usually quite good at my ones predictions, or so I think. So let's back Rezears to get me back on predicting correctly. Was there a show match before this? There was indeed. There was Luis versus CRR. Oh, not CRR. Luis versus Toxic. CRR played yesterday. And yeah, spoiler alert. Toxic was able to beat Luis. He was able to reverse sweep him. He just gradually improved throughout the series, and Luis fell off little bit by little. Mind game by Rezears. I'm probably going to say Revzy by accident at some point here, because I was talking to Revzy as well earlier. He wants to play against Toxic next week. Well, he wants to play against Toxic, I suggested next week, so I'm going to preemptively apologize for saying Revzy at some point during this match instead of Rezears, because they're both just too similar. If we had a 1v1 LAN, who would win it all regions? I would have to back Rezears because he has an immaculate record. Well, not immaculate, but he has a crazy good record in online 1v1 tournaments. And he was also insane when he played threes at the Fall Major. I thought Rezears was one of the top 2 players of the event, himself and Monkey Moon being the top 2. So he's clearly not bothered by the LAN pressure. And he's a beast in one's tournament, so I'd have to say Rezears. Other players I'd expect to do well would include, I think First Killer would do well. I thought he was impressive at the Fall Major in Sweden as well, and he's obviously got a very good tournament record. I think players like TRK and Khaled would do well because, yeah, they're also very, very solid. We have to see Khaled on LAN still, but they're both just monsters, and they have good play styles, very mechanical, but very good decision making as well. And yeah, Daniel is probably going to be up there as well. Appjack. Not sure if I'd put anyone else in the same level, but yeah, Rezears would be number 1 for sure. Ooh, you got access to RNG scrim schedule. They're taking the weekend off. Doing a show match thing on Friday against NA bubble teams. Streams from Monday. Nice. Well, I'm actually away on Friday as well, so wouldn't have been live either way. You love my choice of words. Which ones? Tell me specifically and I'll say them again. Just tell me. Tell me which one. OSM's doing well here. He didn't give himself enough credit. He's holding his own and more in this matchup. Just in general? Okay. In general. There you go. Hope you liked it as much that time as well. The boost steal's available for Rezears. He decides to go for it. He's keeping the pressure on. OSM. Flip reset from close range, but also close to the ground, so not a lot of wiggle room for Rezears there. And OSM will stay goal side. Just runs it into the open net after boxing Rezears out of the position. Nice half flip there. OSM says he genuinely has a headache and it's not BM. He's probably just letting us know in case he needs to take a break at some point during this series. Maybe he's dehydrated. I always have to say it. Remember to stay hydrated, guys. Most people are dehydrated most of the time and they don't even know it. But I'm not right now at least. I've got water, I'm fine. So a lot of work to do on this play for Rezears. Too much it would seem, as the air dribble fizzles. Nice save at the back post though to get another one started, but again the first touch making it difficult for Rezears. This isn't the most efficient takeoff and it's going to cause a lot of boost to be wasted if he did continue air dribbling there. And now Rezears does get past and slams the open net for the 1-goal game. 47 seconds left. OSM's got to be careful here. Rezears always has the kickoff tricks at his disposal. Actually, it's OSM who went for the tricky one this time. Doesn't work out at all. A better first touch by Rezears. Flip reset already secured on the aerial play. Into the floor pinch, and OSM's gone, in fact. Oh, is he lagging? Wait, what happened to OSM here? Oh no. I'm not sure if he DC'd or if he just gave up. Ah, he did DC. Oh, okay. I think so. Yeah, there we go. Okay, he's lagging. Well, that goal stands, by the way. Well, I'm not going to undo that with the, what do you call it? The match admin. Yeah, AJ did beat Daniel 2 weeks ago. He'd definitely be another player in the contention. I think if you're looking at a top 8 worldwide, maybe potential tournament winners, you got to have Rezears, Jack, Khaled, Daniel first killer. Yeah, you can maybe throw AJ further down that list. It would be really interesting to see KV1 on 0 ping as well. That would be awesome to see. And yeah, I've got a feeling that TRK, based on what he did on LAN in Sweden, would also be a monster. Fairy Peak Alpha and Ahmad. Yeah, they're always interesting players to watch. They've not been active in ones recently, which makes it hard to place them in a top 10. Obviously, Moxie's been doing really well for himself as well. Oh yeah, Monkey Moon being so good at ones and such a LAN boy, he would be an interesting one to see as well. Yeah, hopefully we can get a ones LAN in the future. I was thinking about trying to organize one, but then COVID happened, so it became not just difficult but impossible to do one. But in a lot of countries, it now seems like COVID restrictions are going away, so possibility is there for 1v1 once again. Wait, did OSM actually just join the party? Is that the real OSM? How did he do that? Oh, he joined the match. How did he get an invite? Maybe Rezears invited him. Let's see if it's fixed. Alright, hold on. Let's see what the ping is like. Okay. It is... Rezears is giving him a goal back, by the way. Because he's a legend. He doesn't have to do that. I wanted to make it clear, like, if Rezears wants to keep that goal, he can. But he decides to give it back. He doesn't want to take a goal against a player who's lagging. And here we go. Alright, we're back into the game. 1 goal difference still. Rezears the one trailing. And now OSM goes for another slow kickoff. Rezears gonna get possession off the back of this. This is a much better takeoff off the wall. His takeoffs for these air dribbles are getting better and better, and it's enough of a threat to make OSM pre-jump. And Rezears' mind game equalizes. Karma comes back around. That's what he gets for giving the goal back. He gets the lead back now. Let's see if he can hold on to... Well, he doesn't get the lead back. He ties the game, I should say. Let's see if he can keep it that way as overtime gets closer and closer. Rip Juice World, thanks to the tier 1, indeed. Rip Juice World. Oh, is that in? Hold on. Oh, that's a save and a half by Rezears. Unbelievable. It was definitely in, but he's pinched it off the inside of the post to keep it out. And clear it as well. He waited the maximum time there to get the biggest chance of clearing it. And he is rewarded with a game win. Rezears in OT. What an outcome. This one definitely had its twists and turns, but towards the end of the game it was Rezears who had the majority of the chances, and he made it count. Absolutely crazy save. Yeah, he's saying in chat that he almost gave up. It was one of those where he looked at it and thought, oh, well, I don't even think I can get that. I might just let it roll in. As you know, pros like us tend to try and run away from goal explosions. Cool guys don't drive into goal explosion radius, is the saying, I believe. But he decided to chase it down and actually made it happen. Made the save happen. Very impressive stuff. Vince2240, thanks for the 4-month prime. Welcome back to the channel. Much appreciated, man. Type 1 in chat if you're someone who tries to drive into goal explosions and get your car blasted away. Type 1 all of you weirdos who drive into goal explosions. I say weirdos, but there is actually one practical application to it, and that is, you know, in the few seconds after a goal goes in, where you can just do whatever you want. If you're trying to improve at the game, then you might as well grind some form of mechanic, and one that you can do is practice ceiling and wall recoveries. So, that's another great save by Rezears. Phenomenal stuff in defense once again. Yeah, if you like want to practice your ceiling landings or wall landings, then yeah, just drive into a goal explosion. You'll get fired to the ceiling. It's the only real thing, or the only time that you get to do it. Pros are always doing that. They always try to fly up to the ceiling when they get blasted by a goal explosion. Now OSM getting blasted by Rezears. And it doesn't matter where he spawns, Rezears is going to get the goal, but not before faking OSM for good measure. He didn't have to do that. He had a wide open net, and he just could have rolled it in right here, but he decided to fake it just to rub some salt in the wound there. Ron Cena, thanks for 1,000 bits. I really appreciate that. Long time YouTube viewer, very rarely watched Twitch. I want to thank you for the content over the years. Barely play the game anymore, still watch all your vids. Thanks for swinging by. I'm glad you still enjoying the videos, even though you're not playing the game. Rocket League's one of those games, I think it will always be one of those games that people can just come back to, even after large, you know, parts of time away, large stints of time, I should say, away from it. You can still come back. And since there's not crazy updates in Rocket League, yeah, it'll always be like riding a bike for a lot of people. Because I've played a lot of games over the years that have, you know, lots of strategical components and lots of things added in patches. You know, just to give you a couple of examples, I used to play StarCraft 2, and I, you know, came back to StarCraft 2, and literally everything in the game had changed. Like, there was new units, there was new timings for everything, new abilities. I felt like I knew nothing. It took ages. I still, you know, don't really know everything, and yeah, all of the meta has completely evolved. Whereas, well, probably an even worse one is League of Legends. I go back to League of Legends, I'm like, what champion is this? What champion is that? What champion is that? I don't know what I'm doing. Rocket League, you know, it doesn't matter how long you're away, you're going to come back, you're going to be like, okay, there's a new car, but I mean, they're all just cars in the game. You know, the game's the same, so that's one advantage. You don't have to worry about not keeping up with the meta. It is a great save indeed by OSM. I think more said about the flick though. Rezears, he is such an interesting player, because if you just tune in and watch this guy play for the first time and you look at him driving around the field, controlling the ball and playing standard looking 1v1, you might think that this guy is all brains and subpar mechanics, but then he just goes and does something like this. And you remember that he has got unbelievable mechanical ability as well as a great mind for the ones game. He just doesn't really force it into his game. If, you know, if he's in a normal ones position, he'll do a normal ones move. He'll dribble, he'll shoot, he'll play the standard matchup. But when he's in a position where he can do things like this, he's quite happy to do so. OSM has to respect the flip reset shot. He gets faked again. Sorry, OSM, we have to look at this again and see what on earth happened here. OSM says, just hit the ball, I'll save it. Rezears, try. I tried, mate. He was definitely very close to the ball, and it was a tough read. I think Rezears is probably one of the most well-rounded ones players these days, because he's got an effective offensive game in pretty much every way. Well, every aspect of ones that's popular these days. You know, you think about aerial game with flip resets, aerial game with demos, just straight up ground game with shots and flicks. He's actually quite comfortable in any of those strategies. And he tends to just play whatever's the most effective in the position. He'll play the position rather than a strategy, which is a very tough playstyle to go up against because you can't really know, you have no idea what your opponent's going to go for. And the volume of shots that he's able to get off is always very high because he just goes for whatever the most efficient play in a position is. If he's next to the wall, he'll go for a wall play. If he's in field, he's not going to dribble the ball over to the wall. He's just going to go to your net. You always see Rezears totaling a good amount of shots every game if he's on the ball. Both players actually on good numbers right now. Rezears converting more off his chances. Now he's lifting OSM away from the play, but he doesn't have any boost to capitalize. Great recovery by OSM after getting bumped a couple times there, and he's going open net for himself. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong chat, OSM hasn't missed an open net today. Well, not a bad one at least. No glaring open net misses for the man who made a name for himself by missing hundreds of them. OSM's very talkative today. Is he friends with Rezears? Well, I mean, I think they played a ones match. I don't know if they've been chatty before today, but I believe they were playing a ones match today. So they probably, well, they were chatting in the pre-game lobby about that, and yeah, that's just continued throughout here. Great play by OSM. Going straight down the middle, needs to do something fancy. Check that out. Flips underneath the ball and clips it with the wheels at the end of his flip to send it in the opposite direction from where Rezears is diving. That's the game equalizer. Now with a minute left, OSM tries to go for the air dribble, doesn't get a good takeoff and has to bail on that attempt. Rezears forces OSM to pinch the ball to him. With sheer presence in the position, OSM backs down for the 100 boost. Rezears having to use a lot of boost in the lift off here. That doesn't matter because he's got the reset even at an awkward angle, and he gets multiple touches as he flicks it into the roof of the net. That is a stunning reset goal. Crazy shot speed at the end, 110 kph. And it's a good example of what I'm talking about. You watch Rezears play, you think, well, he's just playing normal Rocket League. He's just going to go for dribbly plays, ground plays. But he scores a banger at, regular interval. Makes him such an exciting player to watch. Doesn't force it, doesn't go for it on every play, constantly keeps his opponent guessing. OSM's actually blocked Rezears' run through for the open net here. The ball was clean through. Rezears, not quite. OSM trying to fake Rezears off this one, but he doesn't have any boost to work with, so Rezears is quite happy to just stay around in the area. And he should be able to get a goal out of this. Doesn't even need another touch because the wave dash is good enough. And with a 2-goal difference, that should be game over. Great play by Rezears though. Air rolling around for the wave dash. Even if that doesn't go in, it's going to bounce to safety and the game will be over anyway. 2-0. Comeback winning game 1 and a leading game 2 that, he did lose a couple times, but eventually continued to hold until the end of the game. Let's see if OSM can get a game here with a 2 5-game series in the last 2 show matches that we saw. And you gotta wonder, was game 1 the one for OSM? Was that his to lose? Is that the best chance he's gonna get against one of EU's best at the moment? You want to see Rails versus Squishy? I think I've got one Rails versus Squishy game on my channel as part of a Cloud9 versus Envy Fusion qualifier. I don't remember what the final score was, but I'm pretty sure with like 2 minutes left, Rails was winning 7-0 or 7-1, and Squishy forfeited, I think. I think that might be the only time that they've played in a tournament. I could be wrong. Rails, of course, came from the 1v1 tournament background. But not at the same era as Squishy. Squishy used to play ones tournaments way, way back. he would usually be in the ones tournaments that players like Pashi, K-Dop, Fairy Peak were winning every week. Like there was Marky Duda, then Scrub, then Pashi. Actually, I don't know if Pashi ever consistently won them. Yeah, K-Dop and Fairy Peak for a while were just winning every single Mock It 1v1 tournament. Before that, it was Marky and Scrub winning them all. That was, I think, the only time that, or the only period of time where Squishy would play ones tournaments. Rezears didn't come along until later, so they avoided each other just by not being active at the same time. Did Cucks play those? No, Cucks didn't play those. I don't think. It was, it used to be Marky who was winning most of them. Well, Marky would basically win if he played. It's like, is Marky Duda playing? If he is, he's going to win. If he's not, then someone else has a chance to win. But yeah, Marky was the best ones player for quite a while before Scrub managed to get past him. And then, yeah, I don't remember why Scrub stopped playing those, because after a while, I'm pretty sure Scrub stopped playing those ones tournaments, and K-Dop and Fairy Peak started to dominate them. Although at that time, K-Dop had a good record against Scrub, and Fairy Peak did as well, so I'm not sure if Scrub would have had a phenomenal time in those ones events, even if he did play. K-Dop, I believe, undefeated against Scrub in Showmatches 5-0 over the years. None of those recent, but still, pretty ridiculous stat to remember. Look at OSM in this third game. Putting up some very controlled challenges and establishing a strong lead for himself. He should be able to hold on to this one. Well, at least based on what we've seen so far. That's a good save. I think Rezears just bumped OSM into saving his own shot there, but OSM steals the boost away. Not by much, but still able to get it. He's got Rezears in a very awkward position right here. OSM shouldn't force the issue, and he does take his time, waits for the open net. And although it's a bit of a tough position to control, OSM does well. Good power on that last dodge there. Khaled Ahmad plays 100 ping. Middle East and Europe's not that far apart. What's the point? I'm not sure what the take is here. Well, I don't know what chat's discussing here with regards to ping. What's the argument? Another absolute banger by Rezears. Flip reset, double tap this time because he saw the challenge coming in, went for the shot earlier. And if any goal is going to kickstart your momentum, it would be that one or a mind game, I'd say. You've got to either score a banger or a mind game. Best two ways to jumpstart a comeback. Johnny, have you tried Opa Pop? That is a joke, right? That is a joke, isn't it? We are going to have one more Opa Pop sponsored show match this month. It's probably going to be next week. Look out OSM. Rezears starting to put together a comeback. And oh dear, OSM gives him the ball. Trying to snatch at an open net there. It wasn't even open. Just trying to snatch at a shot after the kickoff. And you don't want to do that against Rezears. Giving this guy a free possession is asking for trouble. But OSM has done a pretty good job saving that one. It was tough to react when it came at him that quickly, I'm sure. And another goal on the counter doesn't hurt as well. Rezears would really like OSM to stop saving his clips, he said. Now the fake kickoff comes in for OSM. That's so smart. He's the player who would rather midfield play to just go on for a little bit here between goals. Even if Rezears is to be the person to score the next goal, OSM's hoping at least 20 seconds will be gone by the time that happens. In fact, more time's going to be gone. Every second is a second that Rezears needs. Good save by OSM. Got bumped by Rezears, but able to barrel right through him. And a lackluster shot from Rezears gives OSM the possession that he can actually just win the game with. But he decides to throw it away in an attempt to get a 7th goal. It turns out to be a good shot though, because Rezears wasn't able to take control. Oh, he's taking control of that one though. Banger from Rezears after passing the ball to himself off the sidewall. OSM thought he could move in for the demo, Rezears staying way away from him. And keeps this winnable. 3 goals. 51 seconds. And it's actually going to be 2 goals. 48 seconds. OSM's kickoff goes completely wrong. What happened here? He just didn't get a good touch on it. It's that little bit of a delay by Rezears. OSM just slightly too side onto the ball there. Didn't get a second touch. But he's got this. He's got the delayed kickoff this time. So another 4 seconds goes by and it's another kickoff goal. OSM hitting Rezears with his very own strategy there. They're both doing this. Yeah, 2 could play at that game, OSM says. Wonder if Rezears is going to do it now. No, he's just going to play standard. I would love to see Rezears go for a delayed kickoff after OSM got a goal with it. Rezears has beamed it. OSM up by 4. The boost miss. Just a little bit too wide of a turn there from Rezears. Rezears says he's done. He knows that this is probably GG here in game 3. No sweep for him against OSM. Oh my goodness. Well, I might have spoken too soon, because hold up a second. If he could do a few more of these. What is this touch? OSM wasn't even in a bad position in net. He was covering most of the goal, but Rezears gets a ridiculous pop at the end of that flip reset. Stick it in the bottom right corner. You know, the comeback's still on here. He can make a ceiling play here. Oh, he wants to try and take it infield instead, so that's probably going to be GG, but I thought for a second Rezears was going to go for a ceiling play there, and that's an all-in play that's hard to stop. And then you're at 2 goals, but I believe what happened is he turned in field to look for OSM, expecting him to be on the back wall for a demo, and then OSM just wasn't there, so Rezears panicked. He thought, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? I guess I'll go infield, and it just didn't work. So, bit of a miscalculation there from Rezears. He didn't realize where OSM was. Went for a demo on OSM when OSM wasn't even there. Ceiling play, I think, would have been the play there. Keep the comeback alive, and you know, if he got that 1 goal, you never know. It was definitely doable. A lot of chances actually for Rezears. Look at this shots from OSM. My goodness, he really just pelted Rezears at the start of this game with a whole bunch of shots and kept him pinned back. It took a long time for Rezears to regain control of the midfield. Now let's see if OSM can keep that up. Can he continue to control this matchup? Keep the comeback alive in the series. Are they allowed to FF? Yes, they are. Players are always allowed to FF in my channel. Wait, Fahad at 170 ping versus KV1's 140, 150. That's crazy. I mean, the Middle Eastern SAM players are completely ridiculous. I don't know how they can be that good with high ping. It's just so hard. It's so hard to play with high ping, especially in ones. Honestly, in any game mode these days. Well, if someone FF the series halfway through the first game, then I would assume that they have some kind of obligation or emergency, hopefully obligation and not an emergency, that they would have to go and take care of, and yeah, we would leave it at that. So Skyline Rezears, game 3. What hitbox is this again? I always forget which one this is. OSM always going for these delayed kickoffs. He's very good at them. Very good at actually getting goals out of them. Making it awkward, making life difficult for his opponent. It's a great catch by Rezears on the turn. OSM forced it to a very awkward position there. Probably had to knock the ball up the side wall by curving it up the wall. That would have been the only way that he can avoid being scored on. By bouncing the ball off, or bouncing the ball off the wall, it comes into the middle a little bit more quickly, and that allows Rezears to just demo him and then have an open net. OSM's going to get his 1-goal lead back here. Scores early in the game with the kickoff by delaying the kickoff. Now he actually scores by delaying a 50-50. Full control of the position. But yeah, like I said, I think I said this in the Luis versus Toxic matchup as well. If you've got 100 boost your opponent has 0 boost or low boost, and they're forcing a 50-50 against you, then you don't really want that ball to go flying off in some random direction. Oh wow, Rezears with another boost miss there. You'd rather the ball stay close, because what happens if the ball pings across the entire field off a 50-50 and you've got a massive boost advantage, is both of you will advance towards the ball, presumably, and while doing so collect a bunch of boost. And who does that benefit? Well, it benefits the player who didn't have much boost to begin with, didn't have any momentum to begin with. Better to keep the ball close to you, because you've still got the boost to get that burst of speed and get to the ball first. The other player with no boost won't have time to get any, will have to be reacting to your play. That's what OSM tried to do there, that's what OSM did manage to do there. That's why he got back out into the lead. OSM really growing into this matchup here, really growing into the series. You've got to commend him, because he came in knowing he's the underdog and lost 2 games, which is always tough, especially against a player as consistent as Rezears. He's actually keeping it fully in his control. Great shot to back up Rezears once again. OSM going for the rebound, and he's up by 3. Look at this. OSM chaining together play after play where he's the one in control. He's the one who's forcing Rezears to react to him. And he's the one who's just denying Rezears opportunities to keep control of the ball. So it's hybrid. I saw, guys, that it's hybrid hitbox for the Skyline. If this game continues to go as it is currently, I would expect a change back to the Octane, because it really has not worked out, this change of car. Obviously, the game before this, Rezears also lost in the Octane, but he had that late comeback, or several late comeback attempts. Did well there to fight off the bump from OSM. OSM still going to stick around in the position. OSM even faking the 50-50 when he's got no boost. He's definitely in Rezears' mind right now with the fake challenges and the delayed kickoffs. Rezears having a hard time reading the movement of OSM. OSM picking up on the movements of Rezears. Perfect flick makes it 5-1. Look at that. That little turn is all it took. OSM knows that he'll be able to launch the ball into the roof of the net from that range. Let's see if Rezears has got anything left in the tank for this game. There's enough time left, plenty of time for him to do something, but this has not been the best game for him in terms of converting opportunities. I've got to be honest with you, I don't like the control in the Skyline as much as I liked his control in the Octane. The Octane, it just looked like everything that he was doing was exactly what he meant to do. In this car, it's like, well, kinda, sort of what he meant to do, but not really. The touches are just a little bit less crisp. The control is a little bit less effective. It just looks awkward. Even this movement in the back corner with the ball, it just looks like he doesn't have full control of it. But here he goes again, not falling for the fake challenge of OSM. The eventual shot leaves a lot to be desired. OSM looks like he agrees as he sends it long into the open net to make it 6-1 now. Player with the best flicks. Best flicks, probably Lion Blaze. Still, you have to probably say Lion Blaze. He's just phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal with the flick game. And he really goes big on the flick game as well. Usually Lion Blaze will build his match around his flicks. You know, he'll use mind games as a complementary side dish to his flicks, the main. And you know, he'll use bumps and early shots and flicks again just to condition his opponent to be more susceptible to conceding against his flicks. He does a good job of constructing his one's game around being good at flicks. Yeah, Moxie also has very good flicks, but I think Lion Blaze definitely looks like the player who's doing everything he can to maximize his flicking ability. Whereas Moxie, yes, he's good at flicks, but I don't think that's his main source of pressure. Lion Blaze is so good at flicks and defense, how isn't he number 1? Well, there's a lot more to 1v1 than flicks. You know, you gotta have... these days, if you want to be the best player, you gotta have more than just that. And Lion Blaze does have more than just that. He's got a solid aerial game in offense and defense. His, you know, his shadowing and his goalkeeping is absolutely world class. But there's more to defense than shadowing. You know, you can't just look at a player who's goalkeeping well and say, well, there's the best defender. You know, the best defense happens before you even have to make a save. The most important aspect of Rocket League defense is pressure on the ball. And I think Lion Blaze probably falls short of a couple of other players, many other players actually, when it comes to ball pressure. He doesn't, you know, constantly pressure his opponent with little fakes and little movements and actual challenges. You know, the best player to look at for just finding opportunity after opportunity to challenge the ball would have to be Khaled. I mean, how often do you see Khaled in net making saves? It's very rare, because he always just finds chances to make saves and turn it into a midfield battle instead of being stuck on the goal line. That's where all, like I said, that's where it's most important to be solid in defense, challenging, pressuring. Saves are the backup plan, usually. But we are scripted here, fully scripted game 5 once again. What are you guys? So you guys are arguing about hitbox. I see. I'm just scrolling through chat right now. I see we've got Pethy in chat weighing in on this. What's the debate? What's the debate? Pethy says that white 8K is wrong. White 8K says hybrid means it has its own. Well, in this case, I think Pethy's actually right, because if you mean hybrid means that the hitbox is unique, then you're wrong. Hybrid is a type of hitbox that is shared between a lot of cars, I believe. That's the turn up for the books, because I thought Pethy would surely be on the wrong side of the debate, because last time I saw Pethy debating about something was, I think he tweeted, like, I was getting spammed by tweets when I woke up on Sunday morning, because Musty tweeted that UK rap is horrible, and I was like, why do I have a bajillion people atting me on Twitter? Ah, that's why. Okay, now that makes sense. But when I read through them, I was like, okay, some of these takes are hilarious. I need to remember that. So Pethy's added into that discussion a comment that I think it just has to be addressed. He said, impossible. I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of that it was impossible to have a good flow in a UK accent. What do you guys think about that? Is it possible to have good flow in a UK accent? Pethy doesn't. He thinks that you can't have a good flow. I think that's crazy. I think you're mad if you think that. And you're absolutely mad if you think that that's a good take. But more on that later. For now, we've got a game 5 that OSM is fighting back in. We're back in the Octane as expected. Back in the Octane as expected here for Rezears. I'm not surprised to see that after the game 4 skyline fail. Oh, look at this. This actually looks like kind of that was almost a season 1 air dribble. Like, there used to be a lot of air dribbles like this in season 1 where the air dribble's not really that far off the ground and the player's just trying to keep the ball in the air. But in this case, it made sense because Rezears was kind of faking that he would come back down at any moment there. A lot of the old strats are now viable because they could be disguised as something else. Whereas back in the day, they're the only thing that somebody could possibly be doing in any position. I'm liking OSM's chances here. He's not rushing. He's not nervous. That being said, I think Rezears is going to get a goal here and makes it look easy. Of course, as he always does with his open nets. That's saying something, because not all players do. The difficulty Rezears has had towards the tail end of this series is reading OSM's kickoffs and reading OSM's challenges. He's not had a fun matchup in that regard. Is he going to get a goal off this? He really should be scoring off this. He's kind of beamed it by taking this long, but he makes it work in the long run. Rezears faking the shot to the bottom left, waits for the ball to roll across OSM, and dunks it in with the flip. Now we get to see the real test for OSM, because the last games have been going well for him. And he's been a great front runner in those games, not allowing Rezears to come back for most of them, if not all of those games. But now he's trailing with 2 minutes left. He's got plenty of time to just wait for the best opportunity. Just keep doing what he's doing. You know, that might have been it. He didn't realize how glorious of an opportunity that was going to be. He got a massive trip onto Rezears when he was coming back there. But he'd already moved away for the boost steal. Now the mind game for Rezears makes it 3-1. I don't think it was an intentional one. It's another one of those happy little accidents for Rezears. He wanted the flip reset there. Tried to flip into the ball, it looks like. And he just misses. That's what he said in chat. He missed it again. It really looked like he was going for it, because he was going for it. It's hard to see that coming as OSM. And oh no, it's all falling apart now. Rezears with the kickoff goal. Makes it 4-1, 4 straight goals for the German. The reverse sweep is in shambles. Can OSM get it together? The Ring 25, thanks for gifting a sub to Brad Pitts. Welcome to the channel, man. Oh, that's a great play by Rezears. OSM went for the early challenge. Rezears dissects him, making sure to get the ball past OSM here, knowing if he does, OSM's going to land in another continent, so he doesn't even need to score quickly. As long as he gets the ball past, he will eventually score. 4-goal difference. OSM was, you know, calm even though he was trailing when it was 1 goal, when it was 2 goals. I think he panicked when he went 3 goals down there, just rushed a challenge. Rezears saw it coming, and here he comes again. He's rushed another challenge. Caution completely gone, but Rezears actually trying to embarrass him here, and it's worked out. He didn't need to do this. He really didn't. I think he could have just sped that ball up and he would have scored, but he wanted the passing play. He lets OSM pass the ball to him and then chips it into the top corner. That's the second time this series that Rezears has passed up on an open net opportunity to instead slow roll OSM. And in this case, and the previous time as well, he doesn't regret it because it worked. 1 minute left. OSM still going for this. But he lost control of the ball, rolls off the front end of the car. And as soon as that happened, he wasn't able to get caught up to it. Double tap off the floor, but notice how Rezears, in all of the last 3 goals, the setup for all of them has been the same idea. He's been hanging the carrot out in front of OSM. He's leaving the ball dangling in front of OSM, saying, come on, come get it. And then as soon as OSM dives in, Rezears just knocks it past him. It's the same strat, 3 goals in a row now. OSM kind of at this point forced to just go for it. The only one that he wasn't absolutely forced to go for was the first one. But even in that case, you could argue that OSM wasn't making a bad play because it wasn't a smart position to be challenging for. Therefore, there's a chance Rezears won't see it coming because it's not something you would expect. But Rezears, too smart, too aware, saw the challenge coming and outplayed it. That was kind of game over. I like how Johnny starts focusing on the series again when Rezears is winning. Hey, I focused on the series when you were coming back as well. What do you mean? It just so happened that, you know, there was a tangent in the first minute of this game when you were winning, and then the tangent ended and Rezears started scoring. It wasn't because Rezears scored. It's because we got back onto track. You know, we were on a tangent, and now we're back. Well, let's see if OSM can go out in style here. Wanted the triple reset, not satisfied with a double as he shouldn't be, because a player of his caliber, he's capable of triples, quads. But well done, Rezears. Dominant performance in that last game. Remember that this game just kind of spiraled out of control though. It was 3-1 for Rezears, and then he scored a kickoff goal, and at 4-1 down, OSM decided to go for a lunging challenge, and Rezears just saw it coming. Now, if that challenge worked for OSM, if he lunges in and dunks Rezears and scores, it's 4-2, you know? It's a completely different game. So it really just kind of got out of control here for OSM, because then he panicked when he went 5-1 down. He's thinking, oh no, like I dove in at 4-1, now I'm 5-1 down. And then he just kept on diving in because he thought, well, I've got to. I don't have enough time left. So yeah, 8-1 is just an eventuality, but this was kind of over at 5-1. That 5th goal, when the big challenge attempt from OSM didn't work. Yeah, it was just not going to come back. But yeah, GG's, thanks for both these players for coming on and putting on a show for us. I'll show you again the goal that I'm talking about if you guys have forgotten it. I think at this minute, OSM knows that Rezears is capable of dribbling the ball around the field for a minute if he doesn't do something about it. So he's thinking, right, I'll just go for a big challenge here. Hopefully Rezears won't see it coming, because from this position, Rezears, you can see where OSM is, and most approaches from opponents in this position would be fake challenges. Most would be fake challenges. So Rezears could easily have just chipped up the ball here and done nothing. Lots of players would have done that. Chipped up the ball, anticipated a fake challenge, done nothing. So this isn't actually a bad play to be lunging in like this one time. And then in the next goal, Rezears again has control. So what are you going to do? Down 4, you kind of just has to go for it. So the other goals from here were just because OSM was trying to win. And when you're trying to win, you got to take risks when you're this far behind. There's always more to the story than meets the eye. There's more to the scoreline than meets the eye. This was less of a one-sided game than it looked, actually. When you're playing to win, when you're playing for the comeback, you sometimes end up losing by a large margin. No, OSM, I'm not roasting you. I'm telling people that the 8-1 is not to the untrained eye, it's going to look like a complete blowout. But really, there's more to this than meets the eye. It's not actually a blowout. It's just when the player's trying to make a comeback, they have to take risks. But GG's.